So a bunch of young people decide to have an after party on top of a mountain because, well, it's cool. One of them starts to walk on the road, and then a car has to make a sharp turn to not hit the guy, causing them to roll off a cliff, basically. First of all, if you're driving on a mountain with sharp turns, you usually go slow, especially if it's night. But also, after having avoided the crash, he was totally clear. You can see here that he could have driven straight into the mountain, and yeah, it would have sucked to have a totaled car, but for some reason this guy chose to make a sharp turn, go down the cliff, and die. This is what happened last summer, basically. A guy with bad driving skills. I should also mention that this movie was under the do not watch alone list of Netflix. And if you know me, you know that I like to take risks. So I did. I watched it alone. And I'm glad I did, because if I'd asked my wife to watch this with me, I think she would have divorced me. So after the accident, one of the girls, I'll call her barista girl, because she works at a bar, wants to go down there to save the guy, not aware that cliffs usually don't have stairs nearby. The most annoying bit, however, that made me visibly angry, that made my eyebrows like this, was when the driver punched out of the window just as he's about to fall down the cliff, and then grabs this guy's shirt, and I'll call him because he was in that movie, him. He does a 360 spin dance move and gives away his jacket right as the car falls. What the hell was that? I thought for a second I might be watching a scary movie, you know, the comedy one, because that looked so stupid. How did the director think, yeah, that looks like a good shot and not at all like a Tom and Jerry skit? Oh, hey there. Hope you liked the video so far. If you do, please consider subscribing and liking the video, so that I can make more videos like these that are useless and meaningless and maybe a little bit fun, hopefully. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the video. I have to say that the acting leaves a lot to be desired in this movie, and I mean a lot. To me, I Know What You Did Last Summer felt like a horror movie made with TikTok influencers, or TikTok reels, kind of. And I don't even watch TikTok. Why? For starters, we're 20 minutes into the movie and I already saw 2 different bridal showers of the same person. I'll call her TikTok influencer. The second guy she's marrying is much more insufferable though, because guess what? He's a crypto bro. And also apparently an alcoholic. Oh, and already we have reached the limit of his character depth. That's all we'll get. These 2 pieces of information are enough to call him sort of a human, I guess. The bridal shower ends, and he starts cleaning up the house after his fiancée goes for a bath. He then realizes what a grave mistake he's done marrying a TikTok influencer, and probably thinks to himself, why am I the only one cleaning after? It was her stupid party anyway. You know what? F it. I'ma just drink this random bottle of alcohol to prove to the viewers that, yep, I'm an alcoholic, bitches. Then he gets shot through his chest with some dart weapon. It's all super sudden, but he's pretty chill about it. And he just says, what the hell, bro? Now you might think this guy has nothing to do with last summer, so why is the killer coming for him first? Well, it was last summer that he became a crypto bro. Probably. Then he offers the killer his crypto wallet password, and if he had any chance left of surviving, those last words kind of seal the deal, because if there's anything every killer hates, it's a crypto bro. That actually makes no sense at all. I don't even know why I said that. Anyway, the killer gave me vibes of the Death Slinger from Dead by Daylight. Ever played it? It's a very toxic game. Okay, so the TikTok influencer who just saw her fiancé murdered in a very violent fashion does her skincare routine anyway. What can I say? Pretty TikTok behavior, I guess. I don't know if the script was written entirely or partially by AI, but there are glimpses here and there where you can tell, yep, that's definitely AI. Here, for instance, she goes on to say something super AI. I'm not fine. I'm just better at pretending I am. Nah, girl, you're fine. You just did a whole makeup routine. What do you mean pretend? You're probably already planning your next bridal shower. After several boring scenes of talking about their next steps, they decide to contact this podcaster girl that's, well, one of the girls. You know, there was a whole airplane sex scene that I didn't want to get into. Like, it was just so random. But anyway, Ava meets up with her and she takes her to this Bayside house. And then another possible AI script leaks through the cracks. Ava asks, why the Bayside house? And the podcaster says, well, it's not about why the Bayside house, it's about what it used to be. And if you know AI, it's not X, it's Y, blah blah blah. Turns out this is the site where the killer, they call him the fisherman. Sounds pretty racist to me though, just because he wears a long coat and a hat doesn't mean he's necessarily a fisherman. I mean, some people just like to, dress in a fisherman fashion, even if they don't fish. Anyway, it turns out he killed someone there. No idea how they got inside, but the killer naturally appears and attacks the girls. He then goes on to miss every single attack on a petite girl. Where's this slingshot thing though? Why did he not just shoot her like he did with the crypto bro? I'll tell you why. It is super annoying and I hate it, but if in a movie a character is unable to die, like it was here for Ava, that just tells us that this girl is main cast and will survive no matter what. If you watched Stranger Things, that was hard to say by the way, if you watched Stranger Things, try it, you'll know what I mean. Okay, so Ava, somehow a boxing prodigy, given how she's able to dodge every attack, survives the attack, whatever. But once again, the killer ends up killing someone that had nothing to do with last summer, the podcaster girl. I feel like the killer isn't really upset with what happened last summer, man. I'm starting to think that this guy just likes to kill people he finds maybe annoying. I don't know. First the crypto bro, now the podcaster girl. I see a pattern here. And based on his motives, the TikTok influencer should be next. So after the podcast girl dies, the action and horror has stopped. What am I saying? Horror. Let's face it. The attacks have stopped and there's no horror in this movie. They decide, you know what? There's a survivor from the fisherman attacks. It's basically a 1997 movie. I Know What You Did Last Summer. And the girl that survived is now a teacher in university. So they find her. Ava goes to her and she tells Ava there's nothing they can do. They just need to figure out who's taking them out and then take out the killer before they get taken out. Not call the police or, inform the authorities or anything. So let's think about this. Who could the killer be? In this moment, you should try to, think about it, right? We know it's not the TikTok influencer. She was upstairs. We know that it's not Ava. She was also attacked. It couldn't be the girl that works at the bar, since she was trying to open the door during the attack. And this guy is trying to convince the police to catch the guy. So there's no way on earth it's him, right? The reveal later on will already be super disappointing, trust me. So I don't want to spoil it just yet. But you know what made me really upset? People around these kids start dropping like flies and nobody suspects them. Like, why is the police not interrogating them about what went down exactly, what they saw? Maybe be a little suspicious of them? No? What if it was Ava or the TikTok girl? How do you guys know for sure? Even if it's not, you guys don't want to question them in detail? Sure, you could always do it later, I guess. Anyway, the gang tries to figure out whose car it is the person who died was driving, because it turns out it wasn't their own car. They think that the real owner might be upset that their car got totaled. Maybe they didn't get the payment from insurance, so they decided to go on a killing spree, I think. And you start to think, okay, you know what? This might lead somewhere. Interesting plot lines could occur, but it doesn't. Nothing happens, really. It's just another useless storyline with no purpose and no reason. I swear this shit is straight up AI slop, but I can't prove it yet. In the meantime, the TikTok influencer and her ex go to the graveyard to see who might have visited the deceased guy's grave. Now, if you think that, wait, it would be insanely dumb to visit the grave of the person you're avenging, you're absolutely right. That's it. I don't really have a punchline or anything to add to this. You're just right. It's stupid. The TikTok influencer curse strikes again, though, when this girl asks the graveyard dude for camera footage. And he's just like, yeah, sure, it. I've got a whole collection of people visiting their relatives and crying their heart out back there. Let me just check and report back to you, my lady. Oh, please, stop it. I knew from the start that this slop wasn't going to be enjoyable, but you could at least try to make it less annoying. Just say no. Say, I can't, and maybe they have to try and figure out a way to get in there. It's confidential, isn't it? Try to dare the main characters for once, to get out of their comfort zone. Nope. They always get what they want because, well, plot armor and shit. The graveyard dude then goes to his office to check his private collection of PORM, which stands for People of Relatives Mourning. That's what I called it. I know it sounds a lot like that other word, but it's not. Just as he's looking through the footage, the hook guy gets him. Once again, some random dude that had nothing to do with last summer dies. Then it's turn to hunt the TikTok influencer. So my guess was right though. It was indeed, her time. However, as I said, her and Ava have infinite plot armor and are unkillable, therefore whenever they appear on screen, it's a snooze fest. It wasn't even annoying at this point, just dumb. The hooked killer slowly raises his hook, waits long enough, it's like 5 minutes long, for him, the ex-lover, to jump in and protect her from dying. Perfect. Yeah, this is like the most realistic horror movie of all time. At this point, I literally started to beg for the movie to end. Just get me the out, please. I get it, right? Hot girls gotta stay or no one watches this boring-ass movie till the end. Probably. While all this is happening, the dude that was yelling to the police to do something, turns out he's also from the first movie. I'd missed this. He's visiting his old friend, also from the first movie, the girl that survived, and they have a talk about something. Either way, your first instinct is, well, this guy can't be the killer either, because in that time, the killer is in the graveyard. Okay, now get your pillows ready because this next scene is super scary, but it's also a bit disgusting and messed up, so you might want to bring like a bowl of some sorts if you feel like, So as we know, the TikTok influencer just 2 days ago, she lost the love of her life, the person that she was gonna marry and spend the rest of her life with. And now she's laying in bed, rubbing her hands together and asking her ex if he wants to cuddle with her. I'm feeling bad. Nope, don't like that. Yikes, man. Oh, this must be why they were warning to not watch alone. Cause yeah, I really needed someone to rant about this scene. And because I couldn't, I had to just sit there and swallow my disgust, sort of. If only I had listened to the warning. Anyway, there's one thing that's really great about this movie. And this is the only thing that's great about this movie, and this is the only time I will say anything good about this movie. If you were to watch this with your family or your grandma or someone, right, and you want to avoid uncomfortable, sex scenes, it's actually quite easy. Skip a few minutes ahead once you hear any sort of discotheque music starting from like a distance. I was watching alone, as you know, but I skipped it anyway. If I wanted to see a sex scene, I'd go to a porn site and not watch a horror movie. Then I realized, oh shit, I missed something, so I had to evidently go back and watch it. Turns out the girl wanted to be choked and punished. Ava? Really? And the guy was like, the fuck? The fuck you mean choke me? And his reaction is definitely on point considering people are dying left and right. So he says he needs a minute and he leaves the room. Honestly, what a shitty attempt at dirty talk. This is totally random, but if I walk into a bar and a girl says, hey, so my neighbor got murdered last week, want to have murder sex at my place, I'll use a hook, it's a prop, it's not real. First I'll be like, yeah, okay, that sounds awesome. But after a few minutes of, calmly thinking about it, my male instincts start to slowly dissipate, probably. I'd immediately call the police and tell them I think I just saw the killer. Anyway, then Milo... Wait, his name was Milo? Really? Okay, this guy's name is Milo, apparently. I don't know, I didn't notice because I was, zooming in and out. I don't know, I guess I was just expecting a bit of a more masculine name. Don't get me wrong, I'm not being a name racist here. Milo goes downstairs and his phone battery dies. And he's got nowhere else to charge it except for his BMW. Talk about flexing. F***ing rich people, man. Really made me angry for a moment because I don't even have a car. Then I calmed down because he only went to, grab his charger apparently. But then he starts talking to himself. He's upset that he didn't choke Ava. My guy, you're like, what, 30? There's a thing called you can just go and continue where you left off. You're adults, not romantic teenagers who have to overthink every little detail in relationships in hindsight. Also, him looking for his charger was super unnecessary. There was like some tension going on. What I mean by that is it's cheap, cheap tension. Well, nothing will happen. I mean, I guess something could happen. Yeah. But then nothing happens and it's just this dumb scene to tense up the viewer into thinking he's definitely gonna die in the car. And then, nope, gotcha. You thought he was gonna die in the car, didn't you? Yeah. I did. Congrats, you win this one, movie. But even with that win, it wasn't really like a holy shit. that got me holding my breath there for a moment. No, I don't care. He can die now or later, whatever. He goes back inside and, like, randomly, he's just standing in front of a window and he's looking outside. And then bam, the killer strikes with a sort of cable and unironically punishes him and chokes him. Talk about premonition, Ava. Note that he's unable to push back on the killer. Like, he's clearly weaker than the killer, even though he's got, like, muscles and stuff. It could be show muscles, but he looks strong. I'll come back to this scene later to complain about it. Anyway, so he's choked in the house and silently transported away. Suddenly, the killer decides to transport the victim, even though they had been leaving their victims behind, like, all the time. And there's a good reason behind it. You see, it's because of slop theory. Now, slop theory suggests that anything that doesn't make sense won't ever really make sense, and I just made that up. Who the fuck knows? Just get me out of this movie already. How does Netflix think this compares to horror movies in any way, shape, or form? Cut to the TikTok influencer and Ava deciding to not call the police, even though people have been dying around them and their friend has suddenly disappeared. They cannot reach him. Something is clearly wrong. I don't think it's sex, guys. He's 30. He's not gonna go cry for like days. Nope. They decide to visit the pastor instead. Because, well, it turns out that the car was owned by the pastor. And the TikTok influencer's plate number is CRKR Queen. Now, you can't make this shit up unless, of course, you ask ChatGPT to give you a really interesting idea for a plate number, which this girl would be using, in which case, yeah, AI can make this shit up for you. Totally. What happens in the following scenes is so random and pointless. Again, it proves that this can only be AI slop. The girl that's, like, cleaning the windows or painting them in the building says that the pastor isn't here, and maybe she could help. 5 seconds later, the pastor appears behind Ava. There's like a scary music during this entire sequence, like a buildup of sorts. Weird cuts, suspense. They're trying to tell us, guys, it's the pastor. Look, the music is creepy. The guy acts weird. And I don't know if the girls can also hear the creepy music, because I guess that's the only way they would have been convinced that this guy is guilty, because they immediately after they leave go and talk to the police. Another reason why I think they might have come to this conclusion is because the pastor gives them a book. And, well, who can blame them? A book? Really? Who the reads books anymore? That. He's definitely hiding something. That was sarcasm, in case you were offended. Don't get me wrong, but I really doubt that these two girls in character would never ever read books. So it kind of makes sense. I'll be honest, they don't really find much other than a picture with the pastor and the guy who had died. That's it. And they're like, oh shit, this is him. They're friends, so he must be the murderer. Okay. The police is like, nah, these girls are crazy. Let's just lock them up in that room for a while. And I kid you not, the TikTok influencer falls asleep inside a fucking police station on a wooden desk. I have hard time falling asleep in a comfy ass bed, and she just snoozes off while being held prisoner, basically. TikTokers, man. Some of them are just on another level. Him decides, you know what, I'm filming him anyway, gotta work out anyway, let me hit the gym so that I can be, and I quote, ready for this motherfucker. That's not how the gym works though. In fact, if you have been going there for 25 years, you'd still be probably easily stabbed by a sharp metal hook. But you know what? You do you, man. Go relax in that steam room, whatever. But then we find out that the killer is also preparing for the big fight by, guess what? Relaxing in the steam room, because he, well, leaves a message on the window like, you're next. I am at my annoyment limit, and I know that's not a word. I can tell it's not a word. It doesn't even sound right, annoyment. But I am at my limit, man. Later on, you know, he's sitting at his backyard, just chilling alone. He just read a message that said, you're next. So he's calm, naturally. He sees something in the distance, so he decides to go check it out. To no surprise, it's the killer. The killer attacks him. But I stand corrected. Thanks to the gym session earlier, the guy was able to beat up the killer for quite a while and buy himself like 3 extra seconds. Good for him. If only the killer didn't have their own gym session, I think he really would have had a chance. The dad dies too, though, because him, I guess. We later find them in a horrifying crime scene, and while the police is there to cover it up, but only after the main cast arrives, sees it, and screams at it. Makes total sense, yep. The police is like, you know what, whatever. The girl said it could be the pastor. People have been dying. We have no leads. Let's go check out. Maybe it's actually him. So they go to his office and they find him dead in a somewhat poetic stance. And holy shit, how did I not notice this before? The guy has the best view in the entire universe. Literally, look at that. What a view. I'd kill for that view. Oh, wait. I'll be honest. I have no idea why the killer even bothered making him look so poetic. It has no meaning whatsoever. The guy didn't even do anything last summer, not that we know of. So it's just to have a I don't know, just for memes, I guess. It looks cool. It looks cooler that way. I mean, if he's just dead, it's not cool, I think. Say what you will about this killer, but the guy is super efficient, man. He literally killed 3 people, I think, in a single night. You know, the dad, him, and then the pastor. Anyway, the 3 girls go on a boat trip because the bar owner tells them to. He's like, it's not safe here. Just go on the ocean. You'll be safer. I don't know, man. The ocean, it's risky. You know, there's a lot of implications there, I think. I feel like staying on land would have been better. And sure enough, we get the reveal that, get this, the barista girl was the killer, the hook killer. The fisherman guy, well, girl. The problem is she isn't the only one. The bar owner is on the hook action. They're both killing people. And why that's so infuriating is because, well, it's not a twist. It's just lazy writing. And let me explain. The movie tried so hard to put in scenes of impossible scenarios so that we could never guess who it was. Like, it's impossible. For instance, the barista girl being at a place where the killer was also. Or during the steam room scene, there's a message on the window, but we see minutes later that both killers were at the bar. So then who wrote the message on the window? Maybe they hired someone to leave that message there. Could it be? And do you remember how the killer got to Milo, you know, the BMW guy? It couldn't have been the guy because he was visiting his lady friend from the first movie. And yet Milo, who seems quite muscular, was super powerless against the barista girl who's like super thin, like zero strength. And yeah, you know, muscle doesn't mean you're necessarily stronger. There's a lot of very thin people that can be stronger. He wasn't able to even push back a little bit. You know, he wasn't even able to struggle. That's what I mean. And perhaps, okay, the dumbest scene of all, that makes no sense whatsoever. You remember when I was talking about the steam room window having a message, and the two killers were at the bar. You know what they were talking during that scene? The barista girl was acting all scared in one scene. You know, she couldn't reach her friends on the phone. And the bar owner was just calmly telling her, nothing bad is gonna happen to you. Who are they doing that bit for? Like, the cameras? Because they're both the killers and they know it. They both are in on each other. Like, they're aware of it. At first I thought, okay, maybe they're both doing it, but without each of them knowing. But that wasn't the case, because the guy at the end confesses that Stevie, the barista girl, wanted revenge, that he knew how to help her get that. He says that her friends ruined her life, so they were definitely a team. But then he went and shot her on the boat, and I don't even know what the the motive or idea or reason of anything even is anymore. I thought you were helping her, and now you just shoot her? What? I guess the only reason for that scene was for the sake of the second twist. Oh no, the guy is also the hook killer. What's annoying is that I'm sitting here trying my hardest to enjoy the movie even a little bit and trying to, guess who the killer might be. Then you do these stupid ass mind games, which are straight up lies. Can't be Stevie, she's worrying, but couldn't be this guy because he was at a different place during that one murder. No wait, it's Stevie after all. No wait, it's also this guy. Okay, you win, director. You win in making it so that no one could ever have guessed who it was. I wonder if the director was like, no one saw this twist coming. Well, no f***ing duh. If you make it impossible to even guess, yeah, No one saw it coming. Congratulations. I hope you're happy with your zero logic and dumb dialogues throughout the entire movie. Anyway, after the second reveal, Ava fights a grown-ass man, literally the killer who took out people far stronger than him, single-handedly beat the shit out of them, now is unable to take out a petite girl, and he's holding a knife. By the way, he does end up stabbing her from behind, and I was like, oh, finally, something bad actually happened to Ava. I don't think she deserved to have been alive up until this point, but okay. And minutes pass, and you expect Ava to probably, pass out even if she doesn't die. But nope, she doesn't pass out, she doesn't die, she doesn't even feel the knife, honestly. It's just like another Thursday for her. She just sits there in the corner, and as the dude is talking to the girl from the first movie, like a reunion of sorts, Ava is able to get up, find the shooting hook without making any sound whatsoever during this entire time. Like, she doesn't make any noises because she's in pain. She doesn't make any step noises. I guess the guy can't hear them. She doesn't make any clinky clanky noise, whatever it's called, during the time there she picks up the weapon. And then she's able to shoot the guy from behind. I feel like this must be like the epitome of a horror slop movie. There was absolutely no horror. Nothing ever made sense. By the end, not a single girl got hurt other than the podcaster girl. And by the way, when Stevie revealed herself to be the killer, and I forgot to mention this, but she stabs the TikTok influencer very deep with her hook. Like, you can tell she's got in her organs quite deep in there, and she falls off the boat in the middle of the ocean, by the way. I guess this girl just must have been Superwoman or something, because she's washed off to the shore. She somehow didn't drown. She didn't swim there, that's for sure. She did not bleed out. She's just chilling on the sand, and I swear she's looking healthier than me on my best day. And then suddenly she resuscitates herself. I wish I was like making this shit up. I'm not. She's literally lying there, and then she starts coughing up water without anybody doing any sort of, first aid stuff on her. She's still not bleeding out to death. She's still not drowning to death. What? Okay, you know what? I don't know what to say anymore. I wish I never got a Netflix subscription in the first place, because then I would have never seen this movie, but here we are. My annoyment was so high that I didn't think it could go any higher, but I was wrong. The movie wasn't over yet. At the end, there was a super cheesy line. Ava says that all of this could have been avoided if men just went to therapy, even though it was Stevie, the girl, who wanted this entire revenge in the first place. Note how subtle, or perhaps not even subtle, honestly, it's just out there, literally in our faces. The writers chose to give the evil girl a male's name, sort of, right? Stevie? Just in case you misremember that women equal good and men equal fucking pieces of shit who are made of hellfire and Satan. Stevie might have also been a guy. She has a guy's name. Just think of it that way. And of course, I went and checked who the director was right after hearing that cheesy line. I was 99% sure that it was a woman. And yes, it was a woman. And no, I'm not being sexist here. You know who was sexist, though? Was this movie. Like, if you go back and think about it, every single male figure was either abusive or alcoholic, or straight up a killer. Police that was incompetent. They painted them as incompetent people. Even the pastor was just a super innocent guy that loved reading books and sharing books. And yet they made him out to be this creepy ass dude with that music, with his staring and whatnot. I don't know, man. I felt quite offended with this movie, not just the last line, but in general. Hey ChatGPT, write me a slasher movie based on the movie from 1997, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Make sure to belittle men, but make it subtle, but also make it not subtle sometimes. Oh, that's a great movie idea, Karen. You really have something original going here. I'll also admit that I watched this at 1.5 speed. I don't care. I'll say it. And I felt like a 2x option was missing. Thanks for watching. Faxing out.